The courtroom cameras were already rolling when Karen Westfield walked in with the confidence of a woman who believed consequences were meant for everyone else. She was 42 years old, polished, well-dressed, and completely convinced this hearing would make her famous. Her blonde hair was carefully styled, her designer suit looked expensive, and her manicured finger tapped impatiently on the armrest while she waited for Judge Judy to begin. Karen did not look afraid. She looked ready to perform. Across the room sat Marcus Chen, a small bakery owner who looked like he had not slept in weeks. His face carried the exhaustion of a man who had spent 47 days watching his reputation, his business, and his family's peace fall apart because of one woman's lie. Marcus was not rich, he was not powerful, he was a hard-working immigrant who had come to America 15 years earlier with a dream, a family recipe, and the belief that honest work could build an honest life. After years of saving, working long shifts, and sacrificing for his family, he opened Chen's Bakery in a small strip mall. The bakery became part of the neighborhood. Parents bought birthday cakes there. Couples ordered wedding desserts there. Elderly customers stopped in just to talk to Marcus and buy fresh bread. He knew his customers by name, employed 6 local workers, and had spent 12 years protecting a perfect reputation. Then Karen Westfield walked through his door, and everything changed. Karen claimed she had entered the bakery on October 15th to buy a birthday cake for her 75-year-old mother. According to her, Marcus looked at her with disgust, refused to serve her, and told her that people like her always cause problems. She said she left humiliated, crying, and emotionally damaged. Now she was demanding $5,000. But nobody in that courtroom knew that Judge Judy had a folder on her desk. Inside that folder was proof so damaging that Karen's confident smile would disappear in seconds. Judge Judy looked down at the paperwork, then raised her eyes. Ms. Westfield, you are suing Mr. Chen for $5,000. Tell me why. Karen sat up straight and took a dramatic breath. Your Honor, I have never been so humiliated. I went into Mr. Chen's bakery to buy a cake for my mother's birthday. It should have been a happy occasion. Instead, I was treated like garbage. She paused, pulling a tissue from her jacket pocket, as if she had rehearsed the moment. I tried to explain what kind of cake I wanted. Something simple, something elegant. But the second I walked in, he acted like I didn't belong there. He told me he was too busy, even though there were no customers inside. When I asked why he wouldn't help me, he said people like me always cause problems. A murmur moved through the courtroom. Karen noticed it, and she leaned harder into the performance. I was shocked. I asked him what he meant by people like me, and he told me to leave. He threatened to call the police. I had to show up to my mother's birthday without a cake, and I have suffered anxiety ever since. This is about principle, Your Honor. People like him need to learn they cannot treat customers this way. Judge Judy did not react. She simply turned toward Marcus. Mr. Chen, your response. Marcus swallowed. His voice was quiet, but steady. Your Honor, none of that is true. Ms. Westfield came into my bakery at 7:56 in the evening. We close at 8. My employees had gone home. I was cleaning the store. She wanted a custom cake made immediately. I explained that custom cakes need at least 24 hours. I offered her cakes already prepared, or I offered to make the custom cake for the next day. Judge Judy leaned forward. And what happened then? She became angry, Marcus said. She said I was lazy. She said a real bakery could make a cake in 4 minutes. I stayed calm. I told her again that it was not possible. Then she took out her phone and started recording me. She walked around the bakery, yelling, accusing me of discrimination, and insulting me because of where I come from. Karen rolled her eyes. That is ridiculous. Judge Judy's gaze snapped toward her. You will not interrupt, Marcus continued. She said immigrants like me come here and take jobs from real Americans. She said I probably did not even have a real license. I asked her to leave because we were closed. Everything is on my security cameras. For one brief second, Karen's expression changed. It was tiny, almost invisible, but Judge Judy saw it. Ms. Westfield, the judge said slowly. Did you raise your voice in his bakery? Karen waved her hand. I may have been upset, Your Honor. Anyone would be upset if they were being discriminated against. Did you insult his background? No, absolutely not. Did you tell him to go back where he came from? Karen's face tightened. No, Your Honor. That never happened. Judge Judy studied her silently. Then Karen made the mistake that sealed her case. She leaned forward and said, he can say whatever he wants. He cannot prove what I felt. He cannot prove the discrimination I experienced. Judge Judy's eyebrows lifted slightly. He cannot prove it. Karen nodded. That's right. Unless he can read minds, he cannot prove the hatred in his heart. The courtroom went quiet. Karen crossed her arms with the satisfied look of someone who believed she had made an unbeatable point. Judge Judy reached for the manila folder. Ms. Westfield, before I open this, I am going to give you one opportunity. Is there anything about your testimony that you would like to change? Karen lifted her chin. No, Your Honor. I stand by every word. Judge Judy opened the folder. The sound of paper turning seemed louder than anything else in the room. Mr. Chen does not just have security cameras, Judge Judy said. He has security cameras with audio, clear audio, and I have reviewed the transcript. Karen's face lost color. That is an invasion of privacy, she said quickly. No, Judge Judy replied. It is not. His bakery has posted security notices, and business owners are allowed to protect themselves. Now listen carefully. She read from the transcript. 7:56 p.m., customer enters. Mr. Chen says, "Good evening. Welcome to Chen's Bakery. How can I help you tonight?" Customer says, "I need a birthday cake right now." Mr. Chen says, "I would be happy to help you. We have cakes available, or I can take a custom order for tomorrow." Customer raises voice and says, "I don't want tomorrow." What kind of bakery cannot make a simple cake? Judge Judy looked up. Does that sound familiar? Karen swallowed. That's out of context. Judge Judy continued. Customer says, "You people come to this country and think you can treat Americans like garbage. You probably don't even have a real license. Go back where you came from and stop taking jobs from real Americans." The courtroom erupted. Gasps moved through the audience. Marcus lowered his head, blinking back tears. Karen's friend, seated in the gallery, quietly looked down at her purse as if she wanted to disappear. Karen tried to recover. "I was upset. I didn't mean it that way." Judge Judy's voice turned cold. "You meant every word. And those words were not spoken by a victim. They were spoken by the aggressor." Karen began shaking her head. "No, he still made me feel discriminated against." Judge Judy pulled out another sheet. "Then let's talk about what you posted online less than 2 hours later." Karen's eyes widened. "No, that's private." "You posted it publicly," Judge Judy snapped. "And now this courtroom will hear it." She read slowly. "Found another target. The Asian bakery owner probably won't even fight back. Going to make this one pay big. These immigrants are so easy because they're scared of lawyers. I'll have a check by next week." This time the courtroom did not just gasp. It turned against her. The disgust was visible on every face. Karen's voice cracked. "That was a joke." Judge Judy leaned forward. "A joke? You thought targeting immigrant business owners for money was funny?" Karen's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Judge Judy reached deeper into the folder. "I reviewed your history, Ms. Westfield. 23 lawsuits in 5 years. Restaurants, dry cleaners, grocery stores, small shops, bakeries. And do you know what most of them have in common?" Karen stared at her in silence. "They were owned by immigrants or minorities, people you believed would be too frightened to fight you." Marcus slowly looked up. Judge Judy continued. 17 out of 23. That is not coincidence. That is a pattern." Karen started crying. Not the polished tears she had shown earlier. Real panic. "Your Honor, I was desperate. I made mistakes." "No," Judge Judy said sharply. "A mistake is forgetting an appointment. You built a system. You created confrontations, accused innocent business owners, threatened their reputations, and collected settlement checks because they were too afraid to spend money defending themselves." Karen wiped at her face, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone." Judge Judy turned toward Marcus. "Mr. Chen, how much did you spend defending yourself?" Marcus's voice shook. $7,000, Your Honor. I borrowed it from my parents." "Your elderly parents?" "Yes." "And what happened to your business?" "We lost customers. People believed her reviews. My children were bullied at school. My wife has been sick from stress. I thought we might lose everything." The courtroom fell silent. Judge Judy's face hardened. "Mrs. Westfield, that is who you hurt. Not a corporation, not a faceless business, a family." Karen covered her mouth with trembling hands. But the evidence was still not finished. Judge Judy lifted another stack of pages. "You also claimed you had witnesses." Karen looked up with a tiny flash of hope. "Yes, they saw what happened. I contacted them." Karen froze. Judge Judy continued. "One of them admitted that you offered $50 to lie in court. She provided text messages where you told her what to say." Karen began whispering, "No, no, no. Judge Judy read the message aloud. Remember, say you saw the baker being rude. Say he looked angry. Make it sound racist, but don't say racist exactly. Cry if you can. I'll give you $50 cash after court. The courtroom reaction was instant. Even Karen's lawyer lowered his head. The case was over. Judge Judy stared directly at Karen. You came into this courtroom thinking you could perform your way into $5,000. You thought tears would matter more than evidence. You thought Mr. Chen would be too frightened to fight back. And you thought I would be too lazy to investigate. Karen sobbed. I'm sorry. Judge Judy did not soften. You are sorry because you were caught. She straightened the documents in front of her. Your claim is dismissed with prejudice. You will never bring this case again. But dismissal is not enough. Karen looked terrified. Judge Judy turned to Marcus. Mr. Chen, judgment for you on your counterclaim. Ms. Westfield will pay $7,000 for your legal fees, $5,000 for damage to your reputation and emotional harm, and $3,000 in punitive damages. Total judgment, $15,000. Karen gasped. I don't have that money. Judge Judy's expression did not change. Then you will find it. Sell what you own. Get a job. Repay the man whose life you tried to ruin. Then came the final blow. I am also forwarding this evidence to the district attorney. Fraud, witness tampering, and a pattern of targeting vulnerable business owners are not small matters. Karen looked like the floor had disappeared beneath her. Criminal charges? Judge Judy's voice was ice. That is for prosecutors to decide. But if I were you, I would stop worrying about lawsuits and start looking for a criminal defense attorney. The gavel came down. The sound echoed through the courtroom like a final sentence. Karen Westfield had entered that room, expecting money, attention, and sympathy. She left exposed as a fraud. Outside the courtroom, clips spread within hours. The moment Karen said, "You can't prove it," followed by Judge Judy opening the folder, became viral instantly. Millions watched Karen's face as the evidence destroyed her story line by line. Her name became a warning. Her victims began coming forward. Other business owners she had sued contacted prosecutors. Some filed claims to recover the money they had paid her. Her public posts were saved, shared, and used against her. The image she had tried to create as a brave victim collapsed into something very different. A predator caught on camera. Marcus Chen's life changed too. People began lining up outside his bakery. Customers came not only to buy cakes, but to support the man who had refused to surrender to a lie. His business recovered. His parents were repaid. His employees kept their jobs. His children could finally see their father, not as a man under attack, but as a man who stood up and won. And Judge Judy's message was impossible to miss. Evidence matters. Truth matters. Karen Westfield thought the words, "You can't prove it," would protect her. Instead, they became the beginning of her destruction. Because in Judge Judy's courtroom, justice does not depend on tears. It depends on proof. And when the proof finally came out, Karen had nowhere left to hide.